I think we're recording.
Great.
So, Betsy Malone, she's one of my friends on Facebook, and she's a blogger for Third Dog Script and a screenwriter and an all-around neat person. And I thought it would be very interesting to get her perspective, especially because she's also in contact with a group that it sounds very interesting. That's the International Association of Near-Death Studies. So what can you tell us that you think we ought to know about what's going on with the global currency reset, Betsy?
Well, first let me say good afternoon, and it's a pleasure to be with you and working with you. I can't say that I'm a official spokesperson for the group. However, I'd like to explain the importance of an awakened life, how we relate to each other through the collective unconscious. Unfortunately, I was not able to attend the conference in San Antonio, Texas earlier this month, but just to give you an idea of what this is about, a near-death experience presents evidence of a greater reality and encourages us to come into alignment with our true nature and our purpose. This is stated by Susan Geisman, one of the people giving a workshop during the event. Records also have shown a New York Times best-selling author, Anita Moranja, was miraculously found cancer-free within 3 weeks of her near-death experience. In her workshop, she speaks about the lessons from her experience in the other realm. The powerful message for her: love yourself unconditionally, live fearlessly, release your fears, and be yourself. There's more to it than tooth and claw, gaining more possessions, or just surviving for that matter. The collective unconscious is profoundly affected by those individuals finding their purpose and who have a desire to make the world a better place. We are bombarded constantly by negative propaganda and ads and so on and so forth, and it's hard to raise your consciousness in everyday life. So these experiences that go out of the ordinary are really, really profound and powerful. For my own experience, the most profound, I know I've shared with you about as a child having a near-death experience, and in some of those episodes connecting with another area of life that most people don't connect with. And it truly does give you a sense of purpose, and you connect and align with certain movements and certain causes that you feel and can connect with on a higher level of consciousness, to know that that's the right thing that you're doing. And I'll go back to the out-of-body experience I had in 1999, which really made me connect with what's going on today with the global network of corporate control. I had a out-of-body experience where I was like seeing from the Washington Monument as Abraham Lincoln's perspective. And it was so intense and vivid, it just plagued me to, for a long time to figure out what that meant. And in 2010, I started to put the pieces together as I realized that there was a lot of things in our country's history that have been hidden and is coming to light. And the opposition between these two monuments really stood out in my mind, and it took me back to that moment. And I felt the alignment very clear of why moving toward the truth and bringing out what has happened in our past, such as what happened with Abraham Lincoln and his battle with the, at that time, corporate control. So these things that are beyond our everyday life really do come into our everyday life, but you have to be aware of it. And that's where the sharing and understanding and having that awareness will take you to that higher consciousness where you can connect into a true purpose in moving all of us, humanity, forward into a greater realization of a perfect and better world to live in.
So what exactly had precipitated your near-death experience in 1999?
Oh, well, I had experienced a lot.
Okay, let's. Sorry for the
That's all
interruption. So
right.
I was asking you about what happened in 1999.
Well, it was an unlikely experience. I was on a boating trip, and the anchor of the boat was cut on a rock, and it, like a slingshot, just flew out of the water back into the back of my back, and literally punctured a hole in my back and knocked me out. And after that experience, I had this what I call an out of body experience, which was into a higher realm. It was the weekend that uncanny that JFK Jr. had crashed and died. I remember it vividly. Because of that, that was a pretty intense weekend for me. I went to the VA Medical Center and they patched me up, and I was doing quite well after that. But during the experience, I had some visions and some intense experiences that, as I was saying, now really makes a lot of sense to me. And at that time, I knew nothing of our history, what goes on in the financial realm, any of that stuff. I was just so far removed from any of that, and didn't really start to embrace it until 2010. And that's when I started to connect the dots and say, whoa, this is really, something amazing here. That, I've had this experience, that obviously I was meant to learn more about it. And obviously I got involved with you to support you in your efforts, and had no doubt in my mind you're on the right track, you're moving toward the right things, and you're doing this for humanity. And I really get it on a deep level. Like, no one has to tell me. I just, it's just an internal knowing. And so that's my experience.
Well, a lot of people want to know who I'm working with, and so I thought it would be very good for people to know that you're one of the ones. And I try to learn from everybody who comes to me. I see myself as the switchboard. I'm there to try to work together with all of the people who want to have a better monetary system, because the way it's been set up, we've been under control. Do you want to talk a little bit about the network of global corporate control, the way you see them?
From my perspective, I've been learning, over the course of 4 or 5 years now. They have slowly but surely started to come out with a little bit of their information to make it, I guess, mainstream and okay now. And I find that very disturbing, that people are just accepting it. You see the pyramid, the images are very clear in our culture now, they're almost like saying, we're in control and you can't do anything about it. And it's such a psychological game for them. And I just hope that people understand this is not true. You need to wake up, become aware, and realize that that's the game they're playing. They've kept their little shenanigans secret for a long time, but now that we have the internet, we have connections, just as you are doing, with the switchboard. You're taking in all this information, and you're realizing how many people are aware, and they're not buying the spoon-fed craziness that we've had for such a long time. So I see them as becoming very scared and erratic right now. They're not knowing what to do as people gain more knowledge and understanding of their position. And I don't think we should have fear in this. We should just understand that they are nervous and they're acting out. It's like a child acting out. You're going to expect this from them. However, you don't give into it, So that's how I see them right now.
So we're actually the ones in control.
Yeah, we're actually in control. And it always appears the opposite when you look out into the world, into the what we call the public arena. it looks as if they have all the control, and they have none, really. It's them convincing us that they